Hola amigos, this is Bearsky and my show today is Magic with Bearsky, and I'm sitting here with my little bear and we're drinking coffee, and we have this really cute table with little chairs, and on the three empty chairs I have my imaginary friends. They're elves who came to me from San Jose del Pacifico, and they're going to be my angels, my little imaginary friends, who are going to be carrying the messages from the forest. So they're sitting here on little chairs, and we're all drinking from the same coffee cup because we only have one coffee cup. But when you are a magical being, you don't really need a real coffee cup. But this one is for me. Okay, anyway, what I want to talk about. Well, first of all, I can tell you one more time that this manifestation experiment is working. So I'm spreading the love, I'm sending you good vibrations, and I really hope that in the future we get to try it together. I would love to try doing something like this in a group because the group energy is very, very powerful. And I know that many people who have been doing this kind of stuff, who have been into esoterics, into Kabbalah, into white and black magic, they used to do it in a group and they still do it in a group. So I'm really excited and looking forward to the future when we can do it together. So I'm going to share with you something that already manifested. Like I told you before, in general, when you're trying to manifest something, it's best to keep it as a secret, okay? Don't tell everyone, like at the start of your manifestation experiment, hey, like I'm trying to do this thing, I'm going to try to manifest the best job like ever, or like, I don't know, $5,000 or $1,000,000, because people usually will have a kind of reaction that you don't want, okay? People will be like, yeah, right, like, good luck, or something like that. Skeptical reaction, negative reaction, or somebody is just kind of like trying to sabotage you behind your back, okay? But I can tell you that I manifested something, and I'm really, really happy about this. And it's not such a huge thing, and it was not that difficult. But at the start of this experimentation, I was really missing having a tribe, being surrounded by people who are kind of like on the same page, who want the same things, who want to raise the vibration frequency of our planet, people who are into psychedelic medicine, people who are into dance music, into house music, into psychedelic trance. And from my experience, I can tell you that I really felt like I was surrounded by my tribe when I was in Norway. I love Norway. I went there for the first time on the invitation of my beautiful, beautiful friend Frodo. We met in Thailand at a party in the jungle, and he just impressed me right away by having such a good heart. And he invited me to come to Norway. And at that time, like, I am from Moscow, and most of my life I spent in the cold countries, in Moscow and in Canada. So my tendency was always to travel south. So going north was not something that appealed to me. I was always like traveling south. But at some point, I was kind of like, yeah, I need to give it a try. And so I came to Kristiansand. This is southern Norway. Frode picked me up. And just from that point on, I can tell you it was love from first sight. I had such an amazing time in Norway. I was surrounded by people who were like so real, so solid. Everyone was pretty much into the same kind of stuff, like dancing in the forest, psychedelics, vibrational, kind of, I don't know, telepathic, magic, this kind of stuff. And so I had such an amazing time that I came back the second time. And the second time it was for the Midnight Sun Festival that took place in the north. I've never been so north in my life. So from Moscow I had to fly to Oslo, and from Oslo I had to fly to Budo, and from Budo I had to take a 5-hour ferry to an island of Faroe. And it was such an amazing place, and it had so much oxygen. And my journey was so long that I just found some tent, and there was a massage table with a really comfortable sheepskin, and I just fell asleep on the thing. And actually, that was how I met my very good friend Scotta, who is still my friend, and she's like my older sister. She's part of my tribe. But I met her in my sleep. If I'm not mistaken, she was supposed to give a massage to somebody, and they just kind of like gently picked me up and they moved me like on some kind of like a carpet. And I was sleeping, I think, for 17 or 18 hours. And my friends who invited me to that festival, they were looking for me, but I was completely, obviously, incommunicado. And yeah, that's how I met Scotta, while I was sleeping on her massage table. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that at that festival, the Midnight Sun Festival, which lasted for 7 days, at the amazing time of the year in Norway, when the sun basically just doesn't set, it goes kind of like this, parallel to the horizon, and it doesn't set. So there is no night. And the thing is that, in St. Petersburg in Russia, we have white nights, but it's kind of gray, like the feeling, or like just like what you see, it's always dusk or dawn, so it's kind of gray. But where I was in Norway, it was not gray, it was bright, like sunny, 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 as if I was in Thailand. It was just like golden light everywhere. It was amazing. And people ask me like, how did you sleep there? Oh my god, I never slept so well in my life, because there was just so much oxygen, no pollution, plus we were dancing non-stop. They were like, so many different stages with different music, with different vibes. Like, we really gave it our best. And I can tell you that now, during this time, that's what I miss the most. I just miss dancing outside with my tribe, with my friends. And so at that festival, I felt that I was surrounded by people, like I know them from my past lives. Like, all of them are Vikings. I just felt so connected. And during my stay at San Jose del Pacifico, Scott had got in touch with me. Okay, it was not that surprising because we kept in touch. And now I came back. Another friend from Norway, Simon, he got in touch, and I haven't heard from him in a while. So all of these people, they're kind of like coming back, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm with my tribe again. And I can tell you that I really felt that it was a matter of like matching my frequency to their frequency. That's why they started to come back. And I was just so happy. And today I had the conversation with Simon, and it was just so much fun to hear his voice. And now I'm feeling really grateful. I'm feeling just so happy because we actually met after the festival, because it was so beautiful there. The sun was still like going back and forth like this. It was bright, and everyone left, and I decided to stay. I just wanted to enjoy it by myself, this island, because I've never seen this kind of nature before. Basically, there are no trees, okay? And in the middle of the island, there is a mountain, and it belongs to the oldest mountain range on Earth, actually. It's called Lofoten Mountains. And this part, it is called by the local people. I don't know if it's true, but at least that's what the people at the festival told me. They call it the clitoris of the earth. Okay? And it kind of looks like a mountain clitoris. I mean, it's really beautiful and it has such a good vibe. And so I was sitting in front of my tent, and I saw this guy getting closer to me. He was walking towards me, and because there was no one there, and it's kind of like, I guess, the landscape resembles Scottish Highlands. So when somebody's coming, you kind of see them from far away. And he came up to me, and we just started talking. And then he was like, hey, like, do you want to go hiking? And I was like, okay. And so we ended up hiking on top of the clitoris together. It was so beautiful. He made a video, and we were listening to High Hopes by Pink Floyd. And the clouds, they were like right underneath us. And the color of the clouds is just undescribable. Just like heavenly pink, that's what I can call it. And we were listening to Pink Floyd, and also we took some vitamins to enhance the experience. So it was really like, wow, I mean, it really felt like heaven, and the grass was greener than any kind of grass I've ever seen. So yes, today I spoke to Simon, and I'm just feeling so blissed out, to be honest, because we had such a good time together. And I don't know if this festival will ever happen again. The Midnight Sun Festival only took place twice, and I was very lucky to be there for the second time. It was just incredible, like it's a memory of a lifetime. And I'm so happy that during my today's magic manifestation challenge experiment, people from that festival seem to be coming back to my life. Yes, things are working. And another thing that I wanted to share with you in this video is my schedule. Okay, so for this 17-day experiment, I followed a very rigorous schedule, like I already said. So, and my schedule is based on sacred geometry. I am a student of Kabbalah, and most of my life I can tell you that I had a very particular and special relationship with numbers, which is very interesting to me because I really don't like math, I don't like geometry, I don't like algebra. But for many, many years, I can tell you that I was followed by the number 19. Literally, like all of my documents expired on, June 19th or 19th of May. Every time I would look at the clock or at the phone, I would see 19 minutes past or 1919. So that period lasted for about 5 years. So I find that numbers, especially prime numbers, like number 19 is a prime number. And prime numbers are very mysterious because they can only be divided by itself. So 19 divided by 19 is 1, or they can be divided by 1. Okay, so every day in general, and especially for this 17-day experiment, I wake up at 9:19. And there is no snoozing. I must wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, 19 minutes. Okay? After I wake up, I do a special self-hypnosis practice. And I will tell you about this in my next video. Okay? Self-hypnosis is very easy to do, and it works especially well after you wake up or before you're going to bed. Okay, other times it's not as effective because when you already had your coffee, you're super alert. It's best not to do self-hypnosis then. Okay, at 10:23, and 23 is another prime number, also very mysterious, very, very powerful number. I have my gratitude practice. Okay, it can be a short gratitude practice, or it can be a gratitude walk that I do. And if you're interested, please subscribe and comment below and let me know if you want to do, if you want to learn about this practice. But I really love it, and I find that it's very easy to do and it's very enjoyable. You don't have to force anything, and it's really important to do it at 10:23. And another thing that I do, the next one, it's a prayer which I do at 3 o'clock 33 minutes. And it's a petitionary traditional prayer when I'm basically praying to God or my guardian angel or anyone I want to, and I'm asking in very simple language, kind of like, please, 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 I really would like to have, I don't know, more coffee. Okay, so that is something that I always do at 3 o'clock 33 minutes. The next thing I do, especially if I have time, comes at 5 o'clock 55 minutes. I do a special embodiment dance, okay? So basically, the purpose of this dance is to feel the feeling of me already having what I want, okay? Sometimes it's not easy, and that's why you have to move your body, because usually before that I've been sitting in front of the computer for a while and I feel kind of like stuck, like very tense maybe. And from the place of like being tense and kind of like stuck and like rigid, it's not a place from which you can easily manifest. Okay, so at 5:55 I have like my special dance practice. Sometimes I just shake, because I don't maybe feel like dancing. Shaking is also very good, and it works perfectly for people who don't want to dance or who like feel that they're not good at dancing. Okay, this practice has nothing to do with like being good at anything. It's just about moving your body, okay? So the energy starts to move, okay? Usually I just feel so good. I mean, like it's amazing how our body is designed to move. It just wants to move and it feels so happy after just 5 minutes. It can change just everything very quickly. And I find that it is just amazing for just lifting your mood, like for changing, like for shifting your energy. So I do it at 5:55. And the next thing I do is 1919. If I have the time, I do the clarity breath work technique or quantum breath that I learned from Richard Bach. Clarity breath, it's from Ashana and Dana Devi, two women, two goddesses that I just absolutely love. I will post the link below so you can join for the next solstice clarity breath ceremony, which is going to be beautiful vibration, so much fun, so much light. If you're feeling kind of like dark energy, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling you need some kind of a shift, I urge you to try clarity breath work. Those two women and what they do, they really helped me during the pandemic, during the lockdown, when I was stuck in my chair in Montreal. Wow, I was just so happy that they were doing it online. And every time I participate, I feel so uplifted. And the same thing I can say for Richard Bach. I discovered his work, his technique is a little bit different, I would say, but still, I mean, you feel wonderful. And I love the meditations that he was facilitating during the sky dancing immersion tantra that I did, thanks to Sarah and Thomas. I was so blessed and I was so lucky to do two immersions, basically like one after another, and I learned so much. Yes, I can't even describe it to you. That's a whole different video. I will talk about my experience with sky dancing tantra with Margot Anand's teachings. Wow, and now that I'm in Mexico and I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm manifesting stuff, I can just see that I learned so much from Margot, from other teachers, from Sarah, from Richard Bach, from Ulysses, who is in Mexico City, and maybe I'm going to get to see him if I can manifest it. So, yes, basically, this is my schedule pretty much. And the final point that I want to make is that before I go to sleep, I do another self hypnosis practice for 20 minutes. There are different things you can do, but the reason I do it before I go to sleep and as soon as I wake up is because at that time your subconscious is more receptive. Your ego is still waking up. Your ego is this kind of like, you know in you can say almost like a watchdog that is kind of like, remembering what is our story, like, what kind of crappy things do we need to do, oh, like, you're lazy, you're stupid, you're like, so before it remembers its like story, we need to sneak in the message into the subconscious, okay? Because the subconscious mind is, well, according to some, is 99% of all of the psyche. So who is driving this bus or this Bearsky? We would like to think that it's our conscious mind, but a lot of the time it's not. And the point of doing this 17-day experiment is to see, can I really shift? Because I think at some point, when you know yourself quite well, you realize that you kind of like do the same thing over and over again, and doing things in the same way and expecting a different result. Well, that's a definition of madness. But sometimes, or very often, you set the intention, okay, I'm going to do things differently because I want to have a different result. And then you look back and you realize, well, actually, it was maybe a different version, but of the same thing. So this is why I find that when you're trying to manifest something new, and especially something different, something that you've never had before, you have to work with your subconscious mind. And in my case, of course, I'm trying to do it by myself, or maybe with the help of my little Bearsky here, who is still in my coffee. But like I said previously, I think it's really wonderful to do it together and to help each other and to share in the energy that gets created, because it's kind of difficult when you're doing it by yourself. First of all, it's hard to see yourself, and as clever and as tuned in as we think we are sometimes, it can be not true. And it's always very useful, very helpful to have somebody else who will be like, no, don't do this, it's the same thing that you always do, you have to do it like this. Moreover, like the common energy that gets created, it helps us to access the field. I will talk about the field in my next couple of videos if you're interested. But the field is something that my teacher Phil Stutz talks about. It's very interesting because it basically gives recognition to the fact that when you create something, you don't really do it alone, okay? There are forces in the universe. We can call them higher forces, we can call them forces of nature that assist us in the process, okay? But there are different things that you can do to access the field. If you want to do things in a kind of like flow way, okay? And that's one of the things that I was really trying to do during this experiment. To create something, to manifest something, not just by like pushing for it, with my ego and with my willpower and, through discipline and through this like very masculine energy, but to enter into a state where I get assistance from the higher forces and from the field. So it would be really interesting to do it together at some point. I would love to share my knowledge with you, my beautiful vibrations, the messages from the elves, from the forest, advice from this little bearsky. And I think I'm going to actually extend this experiment probably up to 21 days because, guys, I'm just having so much fun. I'm loving it, and I'm seeing the results, and that's what just blows my mind every time. It's like a miracle. And like it was said in the Course of Miracles, miracles occur naturally. And if they don't, it means that something went wrong. Okay, you guys, I love you. Thank you so much for listening. Ciao for now. Bearsky love you.